And the spotlight today is one of the big boys, one of the big guns from UNI-T. It's the UT181A, 60,000 counts, data logging, true RMS goodness. Now UNI-T ships this meter in a really nice, good, solid cardboard box, plenty of space, and it also comes with a really big case. In the case, what do you get? Good question. Well, you get a couple of thermocouples. And this is the thermocouple attachment, as you can see, dual goodness. Case itself is really nice. Probably would have liked it if it was just a little bit thicker, a little bit more padding, but that being said, will definitely fit the meter and all of the goodies to go with it. Now this is a chargeable multimeter, meaning that you do not put in your standard 9-volt or AAAs, AA's, what have you. This takes a chargeable battery. So that means it comes with a battery charger. Now this is my first bone to pick about the meter. Now, not the fact that it's chargeable. Hey, I love that idea. I really do. But because it comes with a European adapter. I don't live in Europe. I live in North America, Canada to be exact. But you know, right on top of the good old US of A. And this, my friends, does not go into the wall. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Anyway, so unfortunately, from what I understand is that UNI-T only ships this style charger. They do not ship a North American style plug adapter. What? Say that one more time. What? Makes no sense. That being said, you can go out to your friendly neighborhood wherever, dollar store, general store, whatever you call it. I just happen to have one of these. This is actually from the Ukraine, but it's all good. It all works. You can get these for peanuts, really, less than $1. Goes on top, comme ça, and you're ready to plug and play. But that being said, we should really be able to negate this, and the shipping should include a standard North American style plug. Now take note as well that the charging cannot be done while you're using the multimeter. Now UNI-T ships the meter with a couple of standard UNI-T style Cat 3 1000 volt probes. You know, that's okay. They're not bad. They're not silicone. They are your standard sort of rubber. I guess my only contention once again is the fact that this is a very expensive multimeter, $400 to $500. That being said, I will have liked to have seen a little more high-end style probe to be included with this meter. Maybe it's just me. There's two connectivity options for the UT181A. One is the standard USB adapter. Simply goes into the back of the unit. Sits on top. Plug the other end into your PC via the USB, and away you go. It ships with CD-based software, and it's actually not bad software. Now this is also a Bluetooth compatible device. The Bluetooth compatible adapter is the UNI-T UT181A, and it also simply connects to the back of the unit, turn it on, sync the device, and away you go. The software I've been testing on the Android, on both a tablet and an Android phone, and I have had huge success. No problems in terms of connectivity or distances. I've been as far as 8 to 10 feet, and I was still able to attain those readings. We'll take a quick look at that Bluetooth software during the review. Now it's worth noting this does not ship as a standard package. This is an option when you order this meter. Now if we look at the logistics in terms of size, sheer size, this is a big boy. Yeah. And when I mean big, on the left I have the UT195E, on the right is the Kairitsu Q1052, and in the middle, of course, the UT181A. And both of these meters on either side of it are large meters, but still they are pale in comparison to the size of the 181A. So take note of that. If you do want to get this meter, it will take a bit of real estate up, and it's definitely not going to fit in the back of your pocket. The meter also ships with a really nice standing bail, super wide as you can see. does not flop around, and no worries here about losing control. No, this is one big tilt stand, and this meter ain't going anywhere. Taking a closer look at the selector switch, you have the on-off push button. So there is no set on-off. But starting on the far left, we have volts AC, followed by millivolts AC, volts DC, millivolts DC, as well as Celsius, Fahrenheit for the temperature setting. Continuity, resistance, diode and capacitance, frequency, duty cycle, and MS pulse. Microamps, AC-DC, milliamps, AC-DC, amps, AC-DC. Finally, charging mode. Once again, this meter cannot be used while the meter is charging. Now we do have a lot of buttons to press on this here meter. You can see we have the F1 through to F4 keys, as well as the hold range. These are your switch select keys, your maximum and your select. As well, we have an on-off for the light and the on-off switch to turn the meter on or off. Okay, so let's turn the meter on. Hold down on that button, light turns green, and the boot up sequence takes about 3 seconds. Not too shabby. Once you're in, look at that gorgeous screen. 60,000 counts of display bliss. Okay, one of my beefs with the firmware, if you want to call it that. Let's turn the meter on. Now we want this meter to talk to an external device, be it a computer or a tablet, telephone, what have you. So we have to put it into something called communications mode. To do that, we go into the setup function here, and we scroll down with the arrow keys to communication. From here we can hit the on button. Now if you look at the top right, watch what's going to happen. That's right, now we have that communications symbol at the top right. Now if I close this and turn the meter off, turn the meter on, and at the top that USB symbol has disappeared. So if we want to go back into that communications mode, we have to go back into the setup, into communications, and turn it back on. So we have to re-invoke it. I do not like that. Once we enable it, it should be enabled whether or not we turn the meter off. So definitely a firmware bug, and I really wish UNI-T, at least I hope in the not too distant future, that this meter is user upgradable in terms of the firmware. That's huge. Now I understand there is a firmware, a hacked version out there that, from what I've been told, it strictly changes colors. And for me, that's not, I'm not really that interested. I want something that is going to actually improve the functionality of the device itself. So hopefully in the not too distant future, UNI-T will come up with upgradable firmware by the end user. Let's take a quick look at that Bluetooth software known as IDMM. In this case, it supports 3 meters, the 71, the UT171, and the UT181. Now in this case, we're looking at the 181, so let's just click on UT181. Brings us to the overall login screen. Make sure communications is set up on your 181, which it is. Click on the connect bottom, do a scan, and we should see that Bluetooth adapter come up. Here it is. Click on connect, and now we should be in real mode. And as you can see, yes indeed we are. Now this is a UI tablet. Okay, now we're in resistance mode, as you can see we are not getting any measurements because we're not testing anything. But if I was to test a resistor, .22 meg resistor, and it's showing up here as 22.6 megs, and you can tell on the meter it is in sync. So the Bluetooth software is pretty cool, and I really like it. Now once again, this works with both your Android phone as well as a tablet and also iPhone. Now I've only tested it on the Android phones and this tablet. Once again, I've had no worries. And if you like to go even bigger, you can put your tablet into landscape mode. And Yeah, really easy on the eyes. Already we have a DC accuracy test coming up. 0 to 32 volts, and as you can see, I've got 3 gorgeous unities all lined up ready to show off just for you. Far left, we've got the UT139S, in the middle, the UT195E Pro, and on the right, the star of the show, UT181A. Alrighty, we are off to the races. Here we go, taking it up to a solid 5.1 volts. 5.2 actually. 5.2 showing on the 139, 5.22 on the 195E, and 5.21 for the 181A. Let's take it up again. Let's go up to 13.7 volts. All the meters are showing is 13.85 on the left, 13.82, and 13.84 for the 181. Higher, higher, up to 24.5 volts, 24.64 for the 139, 24.63 for the 195, and 24.68 for the 181A. And we're going to max it out now at 31.5 volts, showing as 31.61 for the 139, 31.57 for the 195, 31.597. Look at that resolution on the 181. I have to take a good look at the displays on these 3 gorgeous unities. Which one do you like? I still have to say that UT139S is gorgeous. Overall, the font, the size, everything, I think that is just one stellar looking display. On the 195E, once again, your standard multimeter look, but that being said, it is very large, really nice font, and the backlight is extremely easy on the eyes. And for the 181A, well, what can you say with all that resolution? Now, the digits are a lot smaller than the other 2 meters, so that might be an issue for some people. But that being said, it is still a great looking display. Let's take a quick look at the bar graph or graph scale, the bottom, and let's just compare the 3, see if anyone stands out in particular. I'm going to cycle up and down through the ranges. And let's just see, does anyone stand out? Now you can tell the 181A, it's a little more verbose. You have that really nice solid line with a, it's hard to see on camera probably, but there is a red spectrum at the end of that white line. So it's very nice. But overall, in terms of speed, I would have to say, probably the 181 by an edge seems to be a tad snappier than the other 2. But that being said, they all are really, really nice. Next up, we're in capacitance mode. This has a 60 millifarad capacitance range. We've got the Fluke demo board out. Quick capacitance test here with a 100 microfarad, 20%. Close enough. Here we have a 3.3 microfarad, 10%. Hey, that's pretty fast. We're going to check the higher ranges now. I've got a 47,000 microfarad or 47 millifarad capacitor. Here we go. Let's see how close we can get. And it's telling us that we need to discharge that capacitor. So that's kind of cool. So I'm going to just take my screwdriver and whoa! Oh gosh, that felt good. Okay. Let's see how close we can get. Here we go. This is around a 47 millifarad capacitor and 40.85 millifarad. Nice and fast. Works for me. I've got it hooked up to the voltage reference right now. We should be looking at 250 millivolts, and we are sitting at 249.92. 2.50 is what we want to see, and we've got it. 2.50, 11 volts. God, I love that resolution. Next, a quick resistance check. This can go up to 60 mega ohm. Let's start by first relling out these leads. No need. Looks good. Okay. Start off with a 0.5 ohm resistor, 5%. That was fast. And a 22 mega ohm, 5%. No problems here. Nice and fast. The neat feature with the UT181A is temperature. And that's not just because it's so super hot looking. No, that's because it comes with a 2-channel adapter for temperature measuring using your standard K-type thermocouples. So you can see at the top on T1, Thermocouple 1, we have 20.7 degrees, and thermocouple number 2, 20.5. So it's kind of neat. You can actually measure variances in temperature, two different places simultaneously, temperature differences. It's a neat tool. Next up, it's diode mode. Let's hope we have a better outcome than the 181T, which was a little disappointing in terms of lighting up those LEDs. All right, here we go, starting with the yellow. And no worries, we're there, including that nice forward voltage drop onto the green, and it is lit up ever so slightly. And we have that forward voltage drop indicator. Let's go over to the red. No worries there. Try the blue. Perfect. Finally, the white. Hey, 5 for 5. Good job, 181. Confirming the diode output voltage on the UT181A is a solid 3.1 volts. Continuity time, one of my favorites. Here we go. These are the default stock probes. Hey, not bad. I'd say that's about a 7 out of 10. Not bad at all. Here's Probe Masters. Wow. I mean, just, they don't even have to touch. It's just amazing. One of my YouTube subscribers, Yambo59, who's always got lots of good ideas about multimeters, came up with something interesting. He said one day, Darren, I'd love to see you do a continuity test and tell us how many decibels. Hey, good idea. Why didn't I think of that? So I'm going to start implementing this into my continuity testing, and we will see, scientifically at least, or with a modicum of science behind it, just how loud continuity is with each meter that I test. .5 on the decibel scale, as you can see, is considered moderate, not really loud at all. The 181A has all sorts of neat features up its sleeve. Way too many for me to go through with this brief review, but if you look at the screen, you can see just how powerful this meter's logging capabilities are. It holds up to, I believe, 20,000 different data points, and here you have a really nice verbose output of the maximum, the average, and the minimum. With the back cover off, we see easy access to the large lithium-ion polymer battery. Model number is P425085, rated at 7.4 volts, 2200 milliamp hours. And the fab date is August 2017. It's good to see you have access to both of the fuses, the large 10 amp fuse as well as the smaller 800 milliamp fuse. Now this only does have a 600 milliamp rating, but they are shipping it with a 800 milliamp fuse. Now, one thing worth pointing out is if you go to charge this and it's not charging, rest assured you've probably blown your milliamp fuse. I discovered that just a short while ago, and I replaced the fuse, and voila, instant charging gratification once again. So if you do happen to blow that milliamp fuse, I guess it is part of the charging circuit, and you won't be able to charge the meter until you replace the fuse. To gain full access, we have a total of 6 Phillips screws that have to be further removed. Now, once you've taken those out, you are in. And I just have to disconnect the connector, and there we go. Wow, look at that. Looking at the back of the multimeter cover, you can see we have some shielding. Hoorah! Fantastico! Wow, this is so uncommon, but such a nice sight for the eyes. So the shielding is at the top and over the battery assembly. Very, very, very nice. PCB, we look at the input jacks, nicely done, screwed in with a nut and firmly soldered to the PCB. As well, we have those nice little isolation slots underneath, and just look at the overall room around here. Excellent. Moving up, we've got that 10 amp fuse, high rupture capacity fuse at the top. And on the low current side, we have, now I have replaced this. This is now a 600 milliamp, but it does ship with a 800 milliamp ceramic fuse by default. On the current side as well, we also have this varistor over here. That's for both the milliamp as well as the high current. We have some diode clamping going on, and look at those PTCs. Count them, 1, 2, 3, 4 shrouded PTCs, and another 3 MOVs. Here, this is a capacitor, a polyester type capacitor. This one is 10 nanofarad. And actually, if we move up a little bit here, we can see another polyester type capacitor over here. This one is rated at 220 nanofarad. Now these are good for very high voltage requirements, but they always have a very low capacitance rating. Over here we have the main IC. This is a 144 pin STM32F1032ET6. It's a 32-bit ARM RISC processor. And right below that we have the RAIO Tech LCD display driver, aka the TFT LCD controller. This one is a dual layered. It's capable, I believe, of around 65,000 colors, and there's also some embedded RAM on there, around 760 KB of DDR RAM. Over here on the left, we have our dual slope 60,000 count analog to digital converter. This is the Cyrus-Tech ES51997A. That does all of that fast ADC conversion. And moving up over here, we have the memory. At the top, we have the high-speed SD-RAM, the IS61 WV1024, and below that we have the flash NAND memory, 512 megabits over here. Over here we have our speaker, and these two are the LEDs for that opto-isolated USB. You can see we also have a battery, a button cell type CR2032. I'm assuming that would be for retaining the data logging that you can save in case your power goes out or the battery dies, what have you. And if we look at the fab date, interesting enough, but can I pull that up? 2013, May 30th, and it looks like it is a revision 6. So not the most current PCB out there, that's for sure. But I'm assuming and I'm hoping that the firmware at least is up to date. Now, speaking of firmware, once again, I did confirm with Jerry from UNI-T that unfortunately at this time the user firmware is non-upgradable by the user. Hopefully in the future that is something that will become available. Be great to be able to flash that firmware to get the latest running firmware to update any patches or bugs that comes along. Underneath this shielding over here is a bevy of capacitors as well. All in all, if we look at that input protection, it is extremely well done. Now remember, this meter is capable of measuring up to 1,000 volts AC or DC. So not only 250 to around, say, 600 that is usually available. So with that high voltage comes some high safety input requirements. IP65 rated meters. Now that doesn't mean you can go ahead and dunk it in a pail of water. The 5 in the IP65 stands for decent moisture or water protection. It should be able to survive an attack from, let's say, a garden hose or something like that. But it's not an IP67 rating. You can't expect to drop this in the bathtub. What are you doing measuring in the bathtub anyway? I don't want to know. But you can't drop it in the bathtub and expect it to survive that. So once again, it is a lighter standard than the IP67. Final thoughts on the UNI-T UT181A in one word: awesome. Yeah, this is one truly awesome multimeter. Does it all, does data logging, trending analysis, you name it. This is one really versatile, useful meter. Now it's not cheap. This retails for anywhere from around $400 to $500. So yes, you do have to pay for this goodness. Now once again, the screen is incredibly beautiful to look at, very crisp, very vibrant, and I truly love what I see. My biggest faux pas at the moment is the fact that the unit does not ship with a North American adapter. By gosh, I really wish it would. In fact, it really should. Also, the firmware is not user upgradable at this time. Hopefully UNI-T is working on that because it would really make a difference in the long run. I'm going to give the UNI-T UT181A a solid 3.5 out of 5 stars. Thanks for watching this review. This officially ends the UNI-T review week, and I hope we had a blast. Coming up next will be more multimeter reviews, El Cheapo multimeter reviews, and everything in between. Thanks for watching this one. Till the next time, keep on testing.